This update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell real estate team. Padres, they have an off day today, so they can't lose. They can't win either, but they start a 7-game road trip with tomorrow night in Atlanta versus the Braves. Well, they'll take on the Braves for 4, followed by 3 games in Cincinnati versus the Reds. NBA playoff action tonight, just 1 game on the schedule. It's an elimination game for the Timberwolves as they trail the Nuggets 3-2. That game is in Minnesota, 5:30 tip-off time there. And the PGA Championship at Valhalla, first round underway. Xander Schauffele shot a 62 today, 9 under par to lead after day 1. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Jon and Jim back with you. This is hour 1. It's deja vu all over again. We're reacting to a Padres sweep at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. Of course, we get you ready for this weekend. Kevin Acee will join us, of course, tomorrow as the Padres look to turn a page after tipping their cap to the Rockies yesterday when they play Atlanta. By the way, I told Darren, I think during the Fusion and off air, his 2:00 hour, and I would have been listening previously, but I was at the gym. It's hard to believe, Jim. I'm getting buff.
You're getting ready for the wedding.
Yes, unlike you eating Fritos, man. I'm officiating this thing. Everyone's all eyes on me.
What, you saying I don't look good? I'm
not saying that.
Okay.
But Darren's 2:00 hour was pure theater. I mean, it was spectacular.
I can't believe I missed it.
Radio. And if you missed it, find it at sportssd.com. I almost drove off the road a time or two. And of course, we'll continue the conversation. Now, one thing I want to start with, Jim, because obviously, we spent time on this yesterday. And we started yesterday's show by saying, this is not to pile on, but how can you not be talking about this if you've been watching the Padres? The thing that has really struck me is that what Mike Shildt sang isn't matched by his own team. That, to me, is a dead giveaway that you're going way too far or you're trying way too hard. And in a moment, we'll hear from both Mike Shildt and Michael King. But aren't you noticing that, Jim? He's defending a group that isn't necessarily asking him to defend him. Because when I hear the players postgame, they're like, yeah, we didn't play well. We just need to play better. Completely understand it. We take accountability for it. And then Mike Shildt saying the opposite. I take exception to this, that, and the other. Why is he doing it?
I have no idea.
Isn't that confusing?
I listened to the press conference again today.
Did you?
It did. Because I wanted to listen to it without having to immediately speak on it and kind of let it marinate a little bit more. Even though we did listen to the whole thing in real time, which is crazy to think. We were talking about this before the break. I mean, they played the entire thing on the Padres.tv.
I'm glad they did.
And that never happens usually.
Very rarely.
It's usually as soon as this thing gets past maybe 5-6 minutes, it's cut off. And then you go back to, okay, we got to take a break.
There are days Brent has had the full clip and it's been 3:10. I'll ask him how long is it? He goes 2:51.
Yeah.
3 minutes and 10 seconds.
It's rarely ever shown in its entirety, I feel like.
I agree with you.
And to have it be shown in its entirety yesterday, I mean, credit to Padres.tv.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Sure. But also for the fans to have to listen to that right after what they just saw them get,
you're like, it's a double whammy
by an 8-0 loss. It is a double whammy. And it shouldn't be about the press conference. It really shouldn't. Like, it shouldn't be us today talking about still this very bizarre, odd defensive Mike Shildt after a sweep to the Rockies. It should be about the team on the field. How Xander and Manny, if you look at their numbers and you dive a little deeper, it's not hard to see like just how bad those two guys have been and how they need to be a lot better. How they they absolutely just negated this 4 series in a row that they won, which Mike Shildt loved to talk about yesterday ad nauseum. And, you know, how you have to go on the road here and you have to play some good baseball again because that margin for error is very slim. The equity that you just built up is gone. The opportunity to be a couple games over 500 going into this 4-game series with the Braves is gone because now you're 2 games under 500.
Right.
You face Max Fried tomorrow, by the way.
It's fine. They're good on the road.
Max Fried versus Matt Waldron. Who has the advantage in that one, John?
Well, we'll break it. I haven't broken down the numbers.
And, knuckleball for life.
And maybe we'll talk about, like, because we didn't yesterday, like, why are you sitting Luis Ariz in favor of matchups?
No. Now you're talking about baseball. Don't start talking baseball on me, Jim.
I'm telling you that.
Don't start talking baseball with our listeners right now.
Sorry,
I'm kidding.
Sorry,
I'm kidding.
But you know what I mean.
You're saying, well, that's my point. He made him the story, which, by the way, isn't the worst thing in the world for his team, potentially. We'll see how they play.
But I don't think he did it on purpose, by the way.
I honestly agree with everything you're saying. I thought the same thing. He made himself the story, which isn't the worst thing when you just lost the series. You got swept by the Colorado Rockies, but you're right. As much of the story now is about Mike Shildt's defensiveness in these moments. And by the way, guys, it's going to happen again. They're not going to play perfect baseball. That's not how this sport works. That's not this team. This team this year, to take it to a baseball on field, this team this year is outscoring opponents by 0.1 runs per game. As in, they're a 500 team.
Well,
I just looked at
2 games under.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm actually glad you said it. But here's the other thing. They have the 16th best record in the sport. They're a middling team.
Yeah.
They're an average team. You could argue they're below average. It's fine. They are below the 500 mark. So that's 100% fine. Can I just, what did you want to say before we hear from Michael Kane?
Well, after I listened to the Shildt press conference again, you know, I'm trying to like kind of compare it to like maybe other managers or coaches that I've heard where I'm just like, oh man, I don't know if that guy gets it or not.
Okay.
And I hate to do this because I think this is a bridge maybe too far. I don't want to put Mike Shildt in this type of category because I think the guy that I'm going to compare a press conference to for what I heard yesterday, he was just this horrible coach. And there is a reason why he's not a head coach right now. And it's in a football sense. Remember last year when Brandon Staley was so defensive when asked about like his defense. And yesterday, listening to that press conference, again, I'm not comparing Mike Shildt to Brandon Staley as coaches. 2 different sports, 2 different things. I think Mike Shildt's actually fine. But I'm comparing the defensiveness part of it and how Mike's kind of lucky that baseball is a very regional sport and that it's not talked about nationally like the football, like the NFL.
Yeah, because otherwise it would blow up.
That press conference yesterday, if that was an NFL type of thing, and if Major League Baseball was the number 1 talking point on First Take and Get Up and whatever other shows in the morning, I guarantee you that's part of their rundown yesterday.
Stephen A. Smith would tee off on something. And by the way, and you're right on Brandon Staley, what you're saying in some of those moments.
It's the defensive part about
honestly, I don't think to the same extent, Jim. I don't think he like died on the hill for 13 minutes after Chargers games in that defensive moment. I think because the NFL is so national, you saw these series of clips of Brandon Staley over the course of the year being defensive. Yeah. But was he that defensive all in one press conference for the entirety of it?
I mean,
I don't know if he was.
I don't know, but and anyway, just back to Shildt yesterday. It just continues to kind of make me still very confused to why he's trying to spin something that it's not. I think a lot of people on social media and a lot of people that are fans out there may be asking, like, what do you want him to say? Do you want him to just rip the team like Ron Washington? Like, no. Hold on. We've never said or wanted or advocated for Shildt to rip players. I think that's a really bad strategy. I think that would not work, especially with this clubhouse and especially with a guy like Manny Machado, who maybe deserves a lot of criticism right now that he's getting. And I think if Shildt went out of his way to pile on and criticize and say this guy needs to be better, like specifically, that would go over horribly. What we're saying is don't feed us something that we know we know what we're watching, and you're feeding us something that thinks that telling us that it's not what we're watching. That's the part where I'm like very confused about the whole thing.
This is the easiest thing in the world. Just take a cue from the players that don't have near the experience talking to the media in theory than a fourth-year major league manager. This is so simple. Take accountability, say we need to do better. We'll learn from it and move on. That's what the players are doing. This is Michael King, who started this train wreck yesterday, an 8-0 loss. This is what Michael King had to say about, the Padres getting booed off the field, essentially. Take a listen.
No, I think we're fully deserving of it, if we were playing that poorly. I continue to think that we have some smart fans here, and they know when they're watching bad baseball. And so we gotta figure that out.
So Michael King, who has spent 40 days here and is this young pitcher with 9 career starts or whatever heading into the year, is willing to take accountability, understands how good of a fan base this is. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that you shouldn't be drawing 40,000 people on a Wednesday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies when you're 22 and 24. The fan base should be praised for the support of this organization. In fact, the thing I want to play next, but do you have the second Shildt soundbite, Brent, for 3:30? That was Michael King on getting booed. That is the only answer. We need to play better. We need to play better. These are smart fans. That is the only answer. I was hung up on this yesterday. And then I listened back to this yesterday from Shildt. Take a listen to Mike Shildt in his interaction about getting booed.
Yeah, it sends a message. I mean, listen, people show up and want to win. I get it. I'll answer for it. It's interesting how, a couple days, changes the complexity of how people react. And I get it. I mean, we're here to compete and win games. And ultimately, I'm not going to alibi it. But you tell me, what do you think message they're sending me and us?
Not happy with the offense. Not happy with the Rockies coming in as one of the worst teams in baseball and 3 straight games in a row.
Yeah, I get it. I understand it. I understand it completely.
Good on John Howard. And Mike, I mean, I hate to say it this bluntly. This is PR 101. You cannot go there. What message do you think they're sending us? That's crazy talk. What Michael King said, I credit him. The way Xander Bogaerts speaks about his struggles, I credit him. We could talk about what happens between the white lines. It's fair. Xander Bogaerts has struggled. I credit for what he says transparently and honestly. What Mike Shildt is doing is a disservice, Jim, to Padres fans because he's not being truthful. You don't have to spin everything. Sometimes you just got to be honest and transparent. And for whatever reason, he's unwilling to do it.
It's very difficult too. It's like a very difficult process for him to go through to get to a point of maybe crossing a little bit of a critical line.
Like pulling teeth.
Yeah, it really is. And he also mentioned something in the press conference again about you guys, where were you when we were winning 4 series in a row for the first time since 2021, even though that's not factual because we won 6 series in a row last September. But where were you guys? Mike,
right there.
We were there.
Exactly.
Not like physically, but we're there. The fans were there.
Physically, they were there.
We see the reaction online. We see the reaction to our shows. We see the reaction to you guys winning series versus the Dodgers. It's very positive. It's very positive. Okay. I know that the goal of this season is be as positive as possible, regardless of what anything happens. But when things happen that deserve positivity and deserve to be praised, we're there, Mike. We're there giving you that, right? You deserve it. When you earn it, you deserve it. But on the flip side is when you also play bad and play poorly and get swept by the Rockies and have the entire series where you don't lead at all in the series, then you also deserve the criticism and you deserve, what's coming to you. And now you're 2 games back under 500. The expectations for this year, John, whether they like it or not, which I think they would say that they believe those are the expectations as well, is it's postseason or bust, plain and simple. And they might not say it, but their actions are saying it because they traded for Dylan Cease and they traded for Luis Ariz.
Thankfully.
If they didn't think that this was a postseason team, then they probably don't make those 2 moves. But guess what? I think they do think this is a postseason team. So they make those two moves to try to ensure that this 100% is a postseason team. And the expectations are set. So if those expectations aren't met, guess what, Mike? Then things are going to be said critically about the team.
Yeah, not even that. I mean, thankfully, the Padres organization, Eric Katsenda, ownership, and AJ Preller, I think this is a very positive to be said. Thankfully, they are committed to winning.
Yeah.
Like that's not me saying
This
it. I
year.
credit them. They have been committed to at least trying. Maybe I should say that, trying to win. It's hard to be critical of an acquisition like Dylan Cease and what that could mean for this year. It's hard to be critical of an acquisition like Luis Ariz and what that could mean for this year and beyond. I give them credit for that. You're 100% right. They need to win. This is what we mean by pulling teeth, Brent. If you find the other Shildt bite, which is like 2 minutes that is just contentious and difficult, and for whatever reason, something that's not necessary. It's just not necessary. This is the pulling teeth we're referring to with Mike Shildt yesterday after the Padres. Remember that they lost the game. I feel like AI. They lost the game 8-0. Like the final was 8-0.
It wasn't even
Rockies.
close. Wasn't even close.
Wasn't 5-4 and 17. It was 8-0 Rockies. This is Mike Shildt.
Well, again, I'm going to take exception with the word outplayed. We lost 3 games, and I'm going to repeat it because I think it clearly needs to be repeated. Look, I'm not defending the fact we lost 3 games. I'm not even alibiing that for a second. I own that. I'll take the responsibility if you want. But I can sit here and it's a different answer to your questions of the game of baseball. We lost 3 games, and then we lost 3 games by beating ourselves and getting outplayed. Now, they played very well. Okay, they did. But you look at some of the things that determine how you play and whether you beat yourself, the things that I've been following this thing for 30 years, it just didn't work out for us for 3 days. I can't explain that. Am I happy about it? Is that clubhouse happy about it? Are we going to alibi anything? No, we're not going to alibi anything. But I'm also going to look at this thing rationally and go, okay, how did you win 4 series in a row? And you do some of the very exact same things. You don't give anything away. You don't walk anybody. You play clean defense. You compete well. You have good at bats. And the guy threw well today. Like we've had some good pitching in the past. Sometimes you tip your hat. Came up short 2 days in a row. So I do appreciate that we didn't lose, but I will have to, and not even blindly, because people I think can accuse me of that, defend what we're doing. But, they played good baseball. They found some holes. But I think I've attempted to clear up the distinction of what just happened here, because there's not an overreaction for me moving forward. Now, if we're throwing the balls all over the place and hitting guys and walking guys and, not hitting balls in the barrel and not having an approach, yeah, you'd hear something different out of my mouth, but that wasn't the case for me.
Do you think his comment there about being like too positive or whatever it was, that something is gotten in his ear, like, hey, maybe I'm too, like I've heard it before. Like I've heard that
that sometimes I have blind faith.
Blind faith, yeah, the blind faith.
Oh, he's got to be aware of what people are saying. You have to probably be in like a fishbowl not to. I mean, he's so available to the media. I'm sure he's aware.
Right.
I'm sure he's aware of it.
It's just a desperate like twisting of trying to turn the Rocky series into something it wasn't.
Right.
And what kind of message does that send to your fan base? That you are not excusing. I'm not saying he's excusing this series, but basically saying, hey guys, what you just saw this week wasn't really that bad. I mean, what's the fan base supposed to say? The fan base is supposed to be like, wait a second. So losing 3 straight to the last place Rockies, never having a lead in the series, and then getting shut out in the final game of the series to fall 2 games back under 500 isn't that bad.
Well, I mean, what he should have said,
it wasn't as bad as what I saw.
What he should have said, which is what's truthful, which is we're 22-24. There's a lot of season in front of us, and we wasted an opportunity, but that doesn't mean we can't capitalize moving forward. And there's some things from this series that need to be cleaned up. And for whatever reason, we didn't play well. But Mike, The fans were booing. What's your reaction to that? They have every right to boo. Completely understand it. They've been amazing.
We got to play better, and we got to give them a right to cheer.
Exactly. Mike, how are you going to clean this up going forward? That's my job. I'm going to figure that out. We're going to play well, and we have on the road, and that's the challenge that's in front of us in Atlanta starting Friday. That's my job.
It's very hard.
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's
like
not hard.
That press conference yesterday, John, it should have been 5 minutes long.
It should have been fun. And if that, Jim, I mean, I go back to Melvin. Not to say Melvin was perfect. They're both different managers. I don't think any of these guys are perfect. This isn't to say Mike Shildt has to be perfect. None of us are. Yeah, and you can have missteps. You talk to the media multiple times a day. There can be missteps. It's almost expected. Bob Melvin getting through yesterday's sweep at the hands of Colorado would have been very frank and to the point. It would have been a very short conversation. He would have been blunt. He would have been transparent. He would have been slightly pissed off, so to speak.
I think it's like kind of a given to be pissed off after losing 3 straight to the last place Rockies.
Respectable. He was very respectable, I thought, with the media by and large, and we would have moved on. It would have been 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. And honestly, we wouldn't even be talking about the press conference.
Not Melvin. No, we wouldn't. No.
Like, that's where I'm sitting here, and I know that Darren kind of alluded to a little bit on his show, and I think it's something that I don't think he went in there thinking, which is, all right, I'm going to have this press conference to take all the heat off the players and put it on myself by saying these certain things. No. I think that's just who he is. I just think that's his world that he's living in, which is not a factual world of what we're all watching. Like, he is in a different universe at times, I feel like, with the evaluation of this ball club.
Yeah, because the clubhouse is saying the exact opposite because they're just saying the truth. In fact, we were going to hear from Manny Machado yesterday. We have it for you today. Nowhere near as, in my opinion, bizarro world as Mike Shildt, but
there's part of it.
But again, it's Manny being Manny. There's something about Manny that is polarizing, and you'll hear that on the other side. We're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. Manny Machado. What did he have to say after the Padres were swept by the Rockies? That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell real estate team. Padres, they have an off day today. They'll take on the Atlanta Braves for a 4-game series starting tomorrow night in Atlanta. Max Fried on the mound for the Braves against Matt Waldron. For the Padres, those are the schedule starters there. NBA playoff action tonight, just one game on the schedule. Timberwolves and Nuggets, game 6 of that series, with the Nuggets leading 3-2. Tip-off is at 5:30 p.m. And moving over to the PGA Championship at Valhalla, Xander Schauffele shot a 62 9-under par today. He leads the tournament by 3 strokes over Tony Finau. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
760 has chances for you to win bonus bucks. You have $1,000 every day this week. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. If you missed our conversation yesterday with the new Aztec assistant men's basketball coach, Ryan Batelli, we'll play that back for you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We will get your calls, 877-767-4760. And truth be told, we're going to hear from Manny in a second. Listen, he's going through it. I mean, he's 2 for his last 33.
He is struggling.
0-61 in his last 33 at bats. What was he? 0 for 4, 3 Ks yesterday?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure he was 0
no
for
one
3
did
3
anything.
Ks. Yeah, he didn't do anything, and they had 5 hits. And he's one of a number of players that isn't contributing. But you know what I like to say? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So this is the full back and forth with the media and Manny Machado, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Manny Machado yesterday, after the Padres were swept, is he panicking? Is the sky falling for the 22 and 24 Padres?
Manny, your manager said several times in postgame that the sky is not falling in this clubhouse, but what is the sense of frustration after getting swept at home by the Rockies?
I mean, we lost. I mean, obviously we don't really want to lose. They're doing really good baseball right now. So, they came out here and, put it on us.
Is it more a reflection on the Rockies, or is this series more a reflection of what you guys are at right now?
They play good baseball. You gotta tip your cap when they come in here. They've been playing really good baseball. They've, took advantage of situations. They, they hit the ball really well. They pitched the ball really well as well. So, they outbeat us.
With the talent that you guys have on this team, though, and especially playing at home, is this a team that you feel that you should take care of, especially when you're playing at home?
Yeah, we want to win games at the end of the day. It's about winning baseball games, and but you can never take away. They play really good baseball. And there's going to be times that you go out there and it's a baseball game. We have confidence in the guys in here that we have in here, and we're going to go out there and compete every single day like we did. And sometimes they just doesn't go your way, and you got to tip your cap. They beat us and they play really well. They play both parts of the ball really well. They pitched well, and they swept us.
Manny, we heard the fans boo more than once today. Was it deserved or not? And what does the message send?
The what? Honestly, I've been focusing on the game. I didn't really hear. So, if they did boo, we played really bad baseball. That's deserved. So, but at the end of the day, we go out there, we compete, and at the end of the day, you got to tip your cap off to the other team. They play really good baseball, and it is what it is.
What made Dumber tough today, and what you see out of the lineup as a whole?
They all week they threw well. They made their pitches, they executed, especially runners in scoring position. They they threw the ball well. And we just couldn't execute.
You say you played bad baseball. Does it matter just not hitting well?
Who said bad baseball?
You just.
I didn't say bad baseball. I said bad baseball?
Yeah.
I did? Oh, my bad. We didn't play bad baseball. We just didn't execute at the end of the day. They played well. They pitched well. They hit well. They did everything right, and we just couldn't capitalize. We came back in a couple games. We just couldn't get that extra hit. But yeah, tip your cap.
Today was not a rarity in that you guys were down big early. Mm-hmm. Because come back, that's a difficult situation to be in. How much of a challenge is that to be down?
It's we've been in this situation before, so we weren't even worried. We had confidence that we'd come back. We just didn't. Couldn't get the opportunities. He was mix and matching. He was throwing really, keeping us a little bit off balance, throwing the ball really well. At the end of the day, it's sometimes you got to tip your cap to them having success. Sometimes we go out there and we succeed as well, and they're playing good baseball right now, so they just beat us.
I feel like you guys are inconsistent because there's some excellent games, and then
there's a lot of words that you guys put into these. Like right now, you're just saying inconsistent. You're putting that into this conversation. I feel like we're playing good baseball. We just didn't play good baseball this weekend, and we got to turn the page, enjoy this off day tomorrow, and start off tough road trip on the right path.
With that clarification, that you didn't feel like you played bad baseball, that you did some things well. Is there anything you can do now this weekend going forward to make the results maybe reflect?
It's a 3-game series. It happens. It's baseball. It's the beauty of 162 games. The other team on the other side, they weren't playing really good baseball for first month and a half, and look at them coming here. They're on a 6-7 game winning streak. So that's just baseball. That's how it is. We came off of a good weekend playing good baseball, and we had some good at bats all week. We just didn't execute when the time was to it, and we just it is what it is. We just enjoy it, take it, and enjoy this off day tomorrow, and get ready for Friday.
All right. Hopefully you weren't drinking every time he said tip your cap, because you would be very drunk.
Or that's just baseball.
You'd be don't step away from your keys.
Why? Him and Shildt, very defensive. And I can maybe get it from a Manny side, but he's always that way. Just because right now he's playing bad baseball, even though he said he didn't say it. He said it. He said the team's playing bad baseball. It slipped. He didn't want to say it. But then it was like, you said that, man. You said you've been playing bad baseball. And when you're asked a question about it, you're like, I didn't say that. Like, why are we so defensive here, guys? Why? Why is it we can't, like, Michael King and Xander Bogaerts I mean, listening to those two guys compared to listening to Manny and Shildt, they're in different like universes. They're in different worlds. Okay. Shildt and Manny are over here thinking or telling everybody that oh yeah, no, it didn't happen. And over here, you have King and Xander being like, yeah, that was bad. If they boo, they boo. We deserve it. We got to play better.
I think actually I wouldn't put Manny in the same boat with Shildt.
He's
He
close.
was somewhat, no, but he honestly isn't. He can be very honest.
He can be very honest.
He can be very transparent. And yes, while he was defensive at times, he also said we need to play better baseball. If we did get booed, I didn't hear it, but we deserve it.
Okay, you heard
okay.
Come on.
But he said we deserve it, which Mike Shildt wasn't willing to go that far.
True.
Like I definitely think he went further than Shildt. I think Manny has no problem speaking what he believes to be true. I really don't think. I mean, he'll rub people the wrong way. He's not trying to make himself sound good. That's the last thing he's trying to do, in my opinion. I just think that, I don't know, he can get defensive. He can be transparent. He's just polarizing, man. If you're not playing well, Manny's going to rub some people the wrong way. He just is. If you're not playing well and you talk to Manny for 5 minutes, there's going to be that element of him that creates a little bit of friction. He's not scared to have that back and forth, that tit for tat, so to speak, with reporters. That's just who he is.
This goes back to last year when we were all sitting here wondering, where's the sense of urgency? You mean you guys are a middling 500 team. You're not playing well. Is there any urgency here? Because all I've heard was like, oh, yeah, don't worry. It'll get better. It'll get better. Like, can we get a little bit of a sense of urgency here?
What if they said?
And then now this year, it's like kind of going down that same path after this series where it's like you're 2 games under 500, essentially the same record as you had last year. And you're just like, yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, but what if they said
Maybe
we need to have a
but I
sense
don't
of
know.
urgency, which is what Bob Melvin said last year?
Well,
then what happened?
I think the overall message from the team wasn't that.
Musgrove said it in May.
But it wasn't everybody, John.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're not going to hear from everyone. We're not going to talk to Donovan Solano. We're not going to talk to Luis Ariz every day. Brent, what do you have?
I think it's weird. It's kind of like they want to put it, anytime you bring up that they might be playing poorly, they shift the emphasis over to, oh, well, the team that just beat us, they're just playing really great.
You were playing good baseball too.
And it's just
Manny.
like, well,
Right.
They can play great and you guys can also play poorly at the same time. They don't, negate each other to where when we ask about your guys' play, your answer is, oh, well, the other teams, they're playing great. It's like, well, great. I didn't ask you about how the Rockies are doing.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's tough sometimes to listen to people on this team speak. And when I mean people, I mean Manny and Shildt, because we're watching these games just like all of you are watching these games, and we're seeing the same things, but apparently sometimes we're not being told that we're seeing what we're seeing.
Sure. Manny's combative. He absolutely has always, that's definitely something that has stuck with him year in and year out. He's combative. He has no issue with doing that with the media. You may not like it, and I probably would agree with it. I kind of respect his willingness to like not just be completely PC, and his willingness to be a little back and forth and to take exception. And I mean, seriously, because if, I don't know, I feel like for Manny's not worried about pleasing all people, but that's who he is. Like that's in his DNA. He's not worried about pleasing, which I kind of respect. I mean, he's not playing good baseball, obviously. Forget about the team. He's 2 for his last 33. He's not hitting.
So if you were there yesterday, would you ask him, why didn't you hustle down the line on all those double plays?
100%. That's exactly what I would have done. No, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
it's like, I don't know what you want. Honestly, with someone like Manny, what would you want him to have said?
It's kind of like the same thing from Shildt. Like,
No, but Shildt went way further.
No, that you said Shildt should have said.
He did kind of. He says we need to play better baseball.
But, and here's the thing. It's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, oh my goodness, the players didn't say what I wanted them to say.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
that's a problem.
Right.
Like, no, the problem that I have is what they're saying is like I don't agree with.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean,
That's
I thought
it.
King said it well. I thought Bogarts, who didn't play today, said it well. And I think anytime you talk to Manny when you've lost 3 straight and he's 2 for 33, you're not going to get a bunch of sunflowers and roses.
And Manny can be the biggest a-hole in the entire world, but if he's on the field performing, I don't care. Like, no one should care, because if the guy's hitting 330 with, a slugging percentage of 600 and an OPS over 1,000, guess what? You can live with him being kind of combative in press
Well,
conferences.
then he wouldn't be combative. That's the thing.
I know, because he is a very go with the wind.
Exactly.
And when I am playing well,
Everything's good.
Everything's great. But when I'm not playing well, hey, what'd you say? I didn't say that. Stop putting those words in my mouth. Stop trying to put these narratives out there that were not consistent. We never said that, but your play said it, Manny. Your play said it.
I mean, you're inconsistent because you're 22 and 24.
Right.
All right. Is this the week it finally happens? Plus your phone calls, 877-767-4760. It's Jon and Jim. Is this finally the week? Plus your calls next. So there's more sports other than just Mike Shildt's post-game press conference yesterday, believe it or not. I thought that was the only thing in the world. Xander Schauffele, Aztec for Life, has shot about as well as you can shoot. I mean, nobody's ever shot a 61 to major. He shot a 62 twice, including today. I know you've talked about the updates. He's got a 3-shot lead. Now, we have seen Xander get off to good starts.
And then fizzle out.
Exactly.
The
And he's
Masters
still,
recently.
I mean, last week, he led on Sunday. His highest finish ever in a PGA championship, as I'm looking it up, is 10th. Man, he's had near misses, like you said, in other majors. So he's now 30 years of age. He just shot a 62. He's got 3 shots, right? 3-shot lead. Now it's only Thursday, so there's still a lot of work to be done. Is this going to be the week? He's clearly playing well. Last week he nearly won before Rory ran away with it. Is it going to be the week here for Xander Schauffele, shooting a 62 in his opening round earlier today?
Well, I don't
Stay
know,
tuned.
but stay tuned. It's off to a really good start. Here's the other thing that you have to factor in as well.
Okay.
He shot a 62, 9 under for the day, and he only has a 3. So to me, that says the course is playing pretty well.
Sure.
And you're not this like far and away ahead of the pack.
6 shots or something.
You shoot even tomorrow 1 under. Someone shoots 4 under, like Tony Finau.
And
guess
you're
what?
trailing.
Now you're trailing or you're tied. So shooting a 62 is great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's amazing. But at the same time, Tony Finau shot a 65. Rory shot a 66. Koepka shot a 67. Morikawa is 4 unders right now still. So yeah, you see a lot of red here. A lot of red.
Yeah, I just looked up. I think there's 87 golfers that are even par or better.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
A lot of red for round 1. Things could change.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, because it's PGA Championship. But this by no means that he is just going to run away with this.
And even to your point, I mean, let's say he did have a 6-stroke lead, which I feel like is hard after 1 round, but it could happen, right? Let's say he led by 6 strokes. I'd still probably have a similar sentiment, which is like, Well, you can't hold on for 54 holes.
And you have to play pretty decent and hope someone that's right behind you
make a run.
have the same day that you just had. Because then you're going to a Sunday but with like maybe a 1-shot lead or tied or 2-shot lead going into the final round, and 2-shot lead in golf. I mean, especially with a guy that has never won a major championship before, you can't tell me the pressure wouldn't get to him a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd be dealing with a lot of pressure there. And he's got to overcome that because he hasn't in his career yet at a major. So if he happens and is lucky enough to get to Sunday with a lead, how is he going to deal with the pressure for the first time? Not the first time, but you get my point, is dealing with that pressure to win for the first time at a major.
9 top 10s in a major since 2019. 9 top 10s in a major.
9.
And that's only like, I don't know, 15 to 20 events. So he's been top 10 about half the time in majors in his career, which started at least with major championships in 2019. All right, Dave has been very patient. I mean, extremely patient. So let's go to Dave here. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in on the Padres. Dave, you're back on with Jon and Jim.
Well, thanks again, boys. It's always good to participate with one of the top shows in all of radio. How about that?
Yes, one of the top shows.
Yes,
thank you, Dave.
It's a show.
You got to have something to strive for. So
that's right.
One up.
Yep.
Listen, couple of very important things. I want to follow up from our conversation yesterday because I got kind of cut off at the end debating with Jim on the adult in the room. And let me explain that real quick, Jim. Look, if you're going to say that you're going to go down with the ship with Manny, then fine. Let's stop having the discussion about the Padres, because basically, if we're just going to coddle him for the $350 million plus the other 5 billionaires that you've got here, or the other 5 guys that up to $1 billion, there's no need to discuss this, because there's 2 options here. Either these 5 guys perform and bring us to the World Series, or we're going down with the ship, and it's not going to be a pretty going down either. So when I say adult in the room, this guy's hurting the lineup right now. You had better production coming out of Tyler Wade and Eddie Rosario than you do out of Manny at this point. When that happens, you're sending a message to the fan base that says it's more important to coddle the guy that's making $350 million. We're not concerned about winning. We're concerned about taking care of his feelings.
Hold on, Dave. Don't go anywhere yet, but let me just respond to that for a second, because I mean, but of course, right? I mean, there is no option, Dave. You're 2 of a 10-year deal. You're gonna sit Manny because he's 2 for 33. How
the only option is for him to play better. That's
like seriously,
option.
Dave. If you're managing this team, like, I'll give you 30 seconds to him, or if you're AJ Pro, you're in charge. This guy's 2 for 33. I'm with you. He's been terrible. What can you really? You're really gonna sit this guy for Tyler Wade and see the other side of that?
No.
If the other players that they have put in there to substitute for Manny while he's rehabbing are performing better and they are winning without him, your first object is to win the damn game. That's it, John.
I know, but it doesn't work like that. That's not how professional. You know this, Dave, and thank you. And that's not how professional sports work. We may not like it. The optics are how professional sports work. Power is how sports work. AJ Preller signs a guy to a $350 million deal. He doesn't sit for Tyler Wade. It's a bad look for AJ. It's an awful look for Manny. It's a bad look for all parties. I don't care if Wade hits 409. It doesn't work that way in professional sports. And I get it. Yeah, you want to win. Guess what? You want to win, but your only path to winning is with Manny Machado playing every day.
Yep.
There is no other path.
Yep. He's going to be in that lineup every single day that he is healthy. He is going to always hit 4th or higher. And he's never getting benched, and he's never getting moved down the lineup. Never.
Go hitless for the month.
The only option that he has, that we all sit here to talking about options for this team and what they need to do differently, is he has to play better.
100%.
That's it. It's
on him.
It's plain and simple. He right now is stinking up the field. He needs to go out there and play a lot better and be the Manny Machado that they signed, or at least close to it.
I agree.
And right now he's not even close. So that's it. Plain and simple.
Hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We are just getting started. We will have the wrap on the other side. We're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us. You know that late afternoon feeling where you're like hungry and you're tired? So you're like
Yes.
hangry,
Oh, I get that all the time.
right? So you're looking to maybe avoid that. You're at work. It's been a long day. You don't want to go to the vending machine. You don't want to eat just like Fritos or chips like Jim. You're looking for something that's also healthy and tasty. Look no further than Almond RX packs. You can eliminate the vending machine from your day. You can eat something that's healthy and tasty. You can get your daily dose of vitamin D, which makes it an immunity booster. You're curbing hunger with Almond RX, the first and only skinless almond fortified with vitamin D. You're getting your daily serving, folks, of 23 almonds. This company, founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician, and Almond RX, they're packed with nutrients, supporting your heart health, cellular health, and gut health as well. You can find Almond RX at any Foodland in San Diego County, Harvest Ranch in Encinitas, or at almondrx.com. That's ALMONDRX.com. If you go there right now, you will get free shipping on your order of $25 or more. Again, if you go there right now, almondrx.com, you'll get free shipping on your order of $25 or more. Almond RX curbs hunger. It's perfect for the on-the-go lifestyle.
This update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres, they have an off day today. They start a 7-game road trip starting tomorrow night in Atlanta for a 4-game series with the Braves. Matt Waldron will be on the mound, or at least he's scheduled to pitch for the Padres against Max Fried for the Braves. Moving over to NBA action later tonight. Just one game, Timberwolves and Nuggets, game 6. The Nuggets lead that series 3-2. This will be in Minnesota, 5:30 tip-off time there. The PGA Championship, first round underway in Louisville, Kentucky at Valhalla. Xander Schauffele shot a 62-9 under par today. He leads the tournament by 3 shots over Tony Finau, who is at 6 under par. Rory McIlroy is at 5 under. Chilly showers no longer. Say goodbye to icy plunges and hello to heat with AndersonPHA.com. Upgrade your water heater and get a free water pressure regulator valued at $1,300. That's AndersonPHA.com.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We're with you until 6 p.m. tonight. If you missed our conversation yesterday with new Aztec assistant Ryan Batelli, you'll hear that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We will get to the wrap. A lot of people, by the way, reacting on the text line to what Dave had to say. A lot of pro Dave on the text line when he said, listen, if Manny can't get it done, essentially sit him or find someone else to do it because it's a business of winning. But there's particulars at play. I don't know why that's rubbing people the wrong way. If anyone thinks that you can try to go about this without Manny Machado as a lead horse, they've made their bed. Manny Machado is a lead horse. If they didn't want Machado to be a lead horse, they could have not elected to extend him out. There isn't a scenario. You may not like me saying it, but I see these texts. Like even our buddy off the 619, it says, the goal is to win and get to a World Series. That's why you pay guys to get there. If currently the guy you pay can't get you there, you sit him. Nobody's going to care if you are better for it and get where you're going. Dave is right. I disagree with you, Jon. You know, you may disagree with me, and I respect your opinion, but I don't think we're living in the same world where Manny Machado can be on a bench and Tyler Wade can be playing for him. I don't think that world exists, truthfully.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The only thing that can be done is he just has to play better. I don't know how else to tell you. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like I'm Shildt right now.
Right.
Like there's only one thing that is going to happen, and it's not going to be him getting benched. Never. It's not him getting moved down in the lineup. You kidding me? He walks in that clubhouse. He sees him hitting 6th.
He walks out. It's like the Simpsons meme.
Yeah, walks in and
let
out.
me take my hat.
Or you know what he'll do? He'll walk straight to Shilt's office and be like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
I'm Manny Machado. I'm Manny effing Machado. And
I don't even think he'll walk right into Shilt's office. I think he'll walk right into AJ's office.
Go to Eric Senda's. Go to Bud Selig's, whoever the commissioner is.
Maybe. does he know Eric Senda? Anyway.
Good point.
And he's gonna play. The conversation that I think is way more realistic to have is maybe they should probably start playing somebody else for Ha-Seong Kim. Like if you want to have that conversation, that's a much more realistic conversation to have than benching Manny Machado.
Honestly,
never going to happen.
Honestly, we've talked about this. We'll get to a point where Bogey plays one fewer day per week because you have Luis Ariz. It's giving you flexibility.
But even Bogey's going to play a lot
he
and
will,
not,
of course
not
he
get
will.
benched.
But he's not benched. If he's typically playing 6 out of every 7 days or 5, could it go down a day if he doesn't perform? I mean, I just looked recently. I think it was in Kevin's newsletter. Manny and Bogey with men in scoring position like this month.
Like 2 for 40.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, Bogey doesn't have a hit with men in scoring position this month. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was in the newsletter.
He was 0 for 11 this month with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, and Manny's not a lot better. Obviously, he's not performing. He's not hitting.
All right, let me
3 for 17, something like that.
Here's the numbers, all right?
Mm-hmm.
17 games since April 26th.
Okay.
All right. Xander's hitting 191 with a 203 on base percentage, 2 home runs, 3 doubles. He's 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Okay.
Manny in 17 games since April 26th is hitting 167 with a 203 on base percentage, 1 home run, 2 doubles, and he's 5 for 24 with runners in scoring position.
Did he say what their record is since April 26th?
I'm going to look that up right now.
It's nowhere near as bad as you would think it would be.
No.
It's around 500.
Honestly, kind of a credit to this team.
Exactly.
For having those 2 guys being that bad.
This isn't the worst team. Nobody has said that. I told you earlier they have the 16th best record in baseball. They're flat average right now. They could end up being good. They could end up being bad. I think it's still to be determined over the next 100+ games. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they're both under 200, what's the record since April 26th?
They're 8-10.
Okay. And they're 2 games under 500 overall. It could be worse than that, though.
And it makes sense. Like, those 2 guys are giving you nothing. And the team is 8-10 in those 18 games.
And truthfully, probably could be worse than that.
Way worse.
That's not the worst record in baseball.
So if they're better, it's pretty easy to say that the team will more likely be better.
Yeah, and like the last point I'll get to Davey here has been very patient. If you want to weigh in, 877-767-4760. The last point is this. I understand in a vacuum one day, Tyler Wade could be better than Manny Machado. No doubt. I agree. In 1 week,
He's
absolutely.
a baseball player, John.
He's a baseball player. Of course he's a baseball player. But if you're asking Tyler Wade to do the heavy lifting for you,
you've lost.
You're asking too much. I mean, even if you ask Jurickson Profar to have this exact season all year, that's going to be a minor miracle. That's going to be an incredible accomplishment if he can do that. All right, let's go back to the phones again. 877-767-4760. Davey, thanks for your patience. You're on with Jon and Jim.
Thanks for having me, guys. As always, you guys do a lot for San Diego sports. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks, man.
I just want to say that everything wrong that we talk about with this team, it goes back to one guy, and to me, that's AJ Preller, common denominator in all this. We're now in year 10, and we've never even come close to winning the NL West. Our entire track record of quote-unquote success with this guy is one season where it took a perfect storm just to make it to the NLCS, which we lost in 5 games. Since we beat the Dodgers in that NLDS, we are 105 and 108. In 9+ years now of Preller, 20th in winning percentage. He doesn't use behind-the-scenes data and technology that modest spending teams that are good, like Atlanta, Baltimore, Tampa Bay do, to get the best out of talent. Can't construct a roster. We always have glaring holes and need the plan to go perfectly. His inconsistency, impatience, these rash decisions, it rubs off on the players and coaches, which is why you see the bipolar play that we see. He has no plan. Even trading for Cease, I think it was a panic move because they saw that Musgrove wasn't right in spring training. And to me, a big problem is that the fans who Preller's good, like, look where we were before, that want to keep him around, I think they're afraid of going backwards. I understand Eric Kutsenda is not Seidler. He's also not Jeff Morad. They won't cheap out on a GM hire. And the new GM isn't going to tear it down, start from scratch. With these contracts, we can't even really do that. There's also no need to. You have Dylan Cease, Arise, Merrill, Campy. Tatis is going to be good. He's going to get going. Manny, he's not an MVP candidate anymore. We'll never see him do what he did in 2022, but he can get back to a level of 2021 when he had an 840 OPS. This city and this fan base would not tolerate another teardown. Now with the only Big Four sports team in town that was 19 months ago was just 3 wins from the World Series. And tearing down, you shouldn't do that anymore anyways. With this new CBA, you can't get top picks years in a row. Can't do what Houston, the Cubs did in the 2010s. And with the increasing remnants of the MLB playoffs, just get in and have a chance. And with the right management in here, we can be consistently in giving ourselves a chance. And I can only hope for that because as much as I love you guys, I don't want to call this show in 2040 and be lamenting about how 2022 was our only chance and we blew it. So
thank you, David. Now that is a call.
Mic drop.
That is a call. Davey was cooking. I mean, he was kind of like the Micro Machine guy.
Let him cook.
I mean,
I remember that guy.
he's making some good points, isn't he, folks? He's making some really good points. He's like a faster
Yeah.
talking Jim.
Yeah. Well, look, we know, and we have been very critical on this show of AJ Preller. By we, I mean me. And I view this, what's happening to this team this year so far. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not going straight to Preller. Now, Preller will get blamed if this thing does not, end right and they don't make the postseason. Eventually be gone. It will change if they don't make the postseason. But Manny's play right now and Xander's play right now, those are on those guys. Yeah, the signings of Xander is on AJ, and yeah, the extension of Manny is on AJ, but it's also along with Peter when he wanted Manny's to be here for life, right? But I actually really like the Rise move, and I really like the Dylan Cease move.
I do too. No, I understand that. I mean, he makes an interesting point. I don't think trading for Dylan Cease truly the day the season starts or when they're leaving for Korea. I don't think it screams panic. I do think it.
Imagine where they would be if they didn't have him.
I think it speaks to their motive, which we talked about earlier, which is a good motive, which is to reach the postseason. I think it really does give them a realistic shot to do it. And I don't know how realistic it would be, to your point, if they didn't have Dylan Cease. I mean, it's easy to go there because he is a common denominator, as Davey said. But it's also, I would say, it's slightly unfair today to be like, it's all on Preller, here's why, when we don't know how it ends. And that's why it's unfair. And all that's why at no point over these 46 games have either of us said, this thing's over, it's finished, it can't be salvaged. But I would never go the opposite way and be like, this is a foregone conclusion, this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't yet go on the attack here on Preller when they're 22-24. Jim, if the season ended, they're like a half game out or something. So like, how do we even know what's going to happen?
At the end of this, yeah, he'll get the blame. He will be, in my opinion, the top of the list,
right?
Along with the players who have not performed, the Mannies of the world, Xander. If they don't have good seasons, then they are going to get the brunt of the blame. Mm-hmm. And if they don't make the postseason, then it's time for a change. Even though it is, like Davey said, it is a little scary to think of the other side, because the other side, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, could be like a Peter Bendix, and no one wants that. Nobody wants that here,
right?
Hey, at least Preller is exciting to cover, and at least Preller makes exciting moves.
Sure.
Well, the problem with those is, yes, that's all true, and I the content is amazing all the time from Preller. The problem is, like, they don't win, and that's the most important thing. They don't win. They don't win consistently enough. They don't make the postseason. They go through manager after manager after manager. They have articles about dysfunction inside that organization every other year, it seems like. And
yeah, but they're entertaining. Because there's teams that lose that aren't entertaining.
I know.
A lot of them.
I know.
Baltimore would be a good example until last year.
Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful, man. To be in this position to cover AJ Preller, I kind of love it.
Yeah, it could be worse. I mean, it could be a lot. It's not like the Padres have. He said they've got the 20th best record Davey did in baseball since he took over in 9 years ago. And okay, if that's the case, that means 10 teams in baseball have had a worse record. And if you look at it from 2020 on, I don't know what their record is in baseball. It's probably top 12.
I think the last couple of years they're like a 500 team.
Yeah, so it's like, so like a top 15, but at least he's entertaining. By the way, someone in the chat, Calvin, on YouTube said, this is like a basketball thing. Like, this does happen in basketball. Someone said, and I think he's probably being facetious, play Wadey, Donnie, he's talking about Solano, and Shuggy. Sit Manny, Bogey, and Toddy. And of course, that's laughable. It would never happen. But like in basketball, you know what? Like, your starters go out there.
The best lineups.
The Warriors go down 30-6, 6 minutes into a game.
Yeah.
You can do a wholesale line change. It's happened, even with really good NBA teams.
Yeah.
In baseball, there is no wholesale line change to start a game. And here's the other thing. The Warriors don't sit their starters to start the game.
Right.
They may eventually sit their starters, but they don't sit their starters to start a game.
Jackson Merrill, Luis Ariz, they should be getting majority of the playing time. Manny Machado is going to get. They are. I didn't like Luis sitting yesterday, but I don't think it would have mattered.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? That's not seeing the forest through the trees. I mean,
Manny is going to play all the time. The only time he's going to get off days is when they all discuss as a group and say, all right, I'll give you an off day here.
Right. Sure.
Be a DH this game, be in third base for a couple days here, have an off day here. Like they have a plan. I'm sure they have a plan, or at least they talk about it before it happens. There is no freaking way that Manny's going to walk into that clubhouse without any clue of where he is in the lineup that day, or if he's in the field, or if he's a DH. Because if he just imagine a world, John, that he walks in that clubhouse and he's thinking to himself, all right, I'm playing third today. I'm always hitting cleanup, going through my routine, going through my stuff. Okay, we're good. What? I'm not in the lineup, or what? I'm hitting sixth. That would cause World War III in this organization. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. There's no world that's happening.
No, I agree. I mean, that's what we've been saying. And I think some people don't like it, which is fine. You may not like it, and you could be right. I mean, I always say this, like with a lot of people that are listening, I don't think this is how it works in the real world. If you outwork someone, you have a chance to surpass them professionally. That does happen in the real world. Not always. Some people get in a spot and it's hard to surpass them for whatever reason because of the hierarchy of an organization. But oftentimes if you're at the same level as someone, you're both, painters, you're both in management, but you do better work than someone else in management, you get the promotion the other person doesn't. In sports, it's not like that. It's like players that are first round picks get second, third, fourth opportunities to fail. Players that make $350 million get multiple opportunities to fail. The 32nd round pick, if you don't hit it on the nail right away, you're susceptible to being cut or waived or traded or never seeing the light of day above single A. So sports, we like to think, this is not true. We like to think the cream rises. All that matters is winning, but there's so much more in there. If a first round pick is going to get so many more opportunities to succeed than a 19th round pick will. So it's not as simple as the best players play because they're paying guys to be the best player. Therefore, they're going to play, even if they're not the best player.
And when you are making as much money as Manny Machado, which is the most on the team, by the way, he has the biggest contract on this team. It's bigger than Toddy's. It's bigger than Bogey. He walks in that clubhouse and he just, I got the biggest one in the room. And because of that, he is never going to be benched.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's true. It doesn't matter if Donovan Solano's hitting 350 in limited time.
No, they'll have to find another spot.
They'll find another place for him because Manny's in that lineup.
Right.
Manny's hitting cleanup. The only way Manny's moving is either it's up. I mean, he
can move up.
Like, hey,
third.
We want to hit you third, but Crony behind you, and this, or maybe hitting second, second. I don't think he'd ever hit
and
second.
he'll have off days. It's not to say he's going to play truly every day. He will have off days, and he won't play in the field every day. He is coming off an elbow injury, and maybe there will be a circumstance where he sits one additional time a month because of a plan that they went through with Manny Machado for his long-term health.
Correct.
But for him to sit back-to-back days or something like that, then he would be hurt.
Yeah.
The only way he's sitting back-to-back days is if he's hurt.
Right. That's it.
And you could argue maybe he is hurt, and that is hurting the team.
Well,
he
did
truly
say
talked on it this week.
He did say that he's not fully healthy.
And that becomes more problematic, and that's where I'm more willing to have a conversation. I mean, if he's actually hurt, that's another conversation.
That's what happened last September is he would play one day, have 2 days off or a day off because of his injury.
And he was never in the field that whole final month.
But that was also a conversation that was had with all parties. It wasn't like Manny walked in the room and was like, am I going to have an off day today? Like, that's Tyler Wade.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's Tyler Wade. No offense to Tyler Wade, but in the clubhouse every day before wondering, am I going to play today? Like, am I in the lineup today? Manny walks in there knowing the night before.
Exactly. Well, it's a fallacy. What Manny said last year to Kevin Acey in that detailed article from Kevin that got all that discussion, that's the fallacy is, there's 26 leaders in the clubhouse. I mean, we all know that's not true.
Right.
You can say it. I don't think he's coming from a bad place saying it. I do believe he thinks the sixth inning reliever needs to contribute, just like the 8-hole hitter needs to contribute. But there is a hierarchy in clubhouses, specifically in baseball. They spend 200 plus days together. That does exist. There's no way that Tyler Wade is the same seat at the table in the clubhouse that Manny Machado has.
I just think he has his way of doing things. He has his own thought process on what this specifically needs to be, and in his mind, it's right. Might not be right in our minds. It might not be the right thing in everybody else's minds, and it might not come off the right way. But in his mind, it's right. And that's all that matters is
Right.
what he believes in his head. And no one can change that. Nobody. You can't change the zebra stripes. That's also with Manny Machado. Like same thing we said about Mike Shildt. Mike Shildt's always going to defend his players. He even mentioned that, yeah, maybe I'm just, I'm over defense.
It's blind faith. But
Blind
he's like, well,
faith,
this
yeah.
isn't blind faith, and
Yeah.
here's why.
And so you're never changing Shilty, and you're never changing Manny.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you're probably right. All right, on the other side, we will get to the wrap. That's next. All right, the wrap. That'll come your way next.
This update's brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres start a 7-game road trip starting tomorrow night in Atlanta with a 4-game series with the Braves. 4:20 will be the first pitch. Max Fried on the mound for the Braves against Matt Waldron for the Padres. NBA playoff action tonight. Just one game. It's between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Nuggets have a 3-2 series lead there. 5:30 tip-off time in Minnesota. And the PGA Championship first round underway in Louisville, Kentucky at Valhalla. Xander Schauffele shot a 62-9 under. He leads the tournament right now by 3 shots over Tony Finau. And Rory McIlroy has 5 under par, 4 shots back of the lead. Chilly showers no longer. Say goodbye to icy plunges and hello to heat with AndersonPHA.com. Upgrade your water heater and get a free water pressure regulator valued at $1,300. That's AndersonPHA.com.
In 15 minutes. All right. We typically get to the wrap around 4 p.m. We didn't because we were talking about Manny Machado. We got carried away. Manny can do that.
The Padres can
do that to you. So let's get to it now.
Who's going to win the PGA Championship?
I want to say Xander. I'll go with Rory.
Rory.
Yeah. I'll just go with Rory.
He's hot, right?
Sure.
I mean, he won last week going away.
Yeah, and he hasn't
played well today.
And it's been a while. He hasn't won a Masters ever, but like it's been a while since he won his last major. That's my point. So I'll go with Rory.
I'll be the homer. I'll go with
it?
Xander. I do it every major. At some point, hopefully I'm going to be right. 30 years of age, shot a 62 today. He has shot a 62 in a major twice within the last year, which is incredible. There's only been 4 62 rounds in the history of majors. So it is a good start. There is clearly a lot of work to be done. So maybe this is the week. Valhalla in Louisville. Next question. Are there 2 number 2 questions?
Yeah, which one you want me to read?
Let's see.
I see only one.
Hold on. Well, there's probably okay. So one of them is who will have a better season, Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr.? This is a choose your own adventure for Jim. Who will have a better season, Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr.? Or will Caitlin Clark be the best player in the WNBA?
Why is it not showing
season?
up on my screen?
Just that's okay. Don't worry about
Look
it.
at 4 and 4:30, Jim.
4 and 4:30, Jim.
Oh, I'm looking at 4:30. Sorry.
Okay, then ask the Caitlin Clark question.
Will Caitlin Clark be the best player in the WNBA this season?
No, she will not. There are better women basketball players right now, and I think with so much, I guess, attention on Caitlin Clark, a lot of these players are going to be like, "Wait, look at me." So no, I think
They already are.
I think Caitlin Clark will win Rookie of the Year. I think eventually she'll become one of the best players, but no, I don't think she'll be the best player in the WNBA this year.
I don't know enough about it. I do think that clearly it's going to resonate that they had 2+ million viewers in ESPN2 during NBA playoffs, most viewers for a WNBA game since 2003. So it will resonate. And I do think she'll have some huge games. And even in this game that they lost by 20-something points, she scored 20, right? But she turned it over 10 times. So let's give it a little bit of time. I think she's going to be entertaining. I think viewers will keep being attached to television because of her. I don't know, though. I don't know enough about the league to say that she's going to be the best player in the league this year.
I'm just looking at top scorers right now. Asia Wilson for the Las Vegas Aces is averaging 30 points a game this year.
But they've only played one game.
I know. But still, Asia Wilson, Ogunbowale, Dinah Taurasi, just to name a few that are top players in the WNBA.
Right. Well, Tyler Wade was 2 for his first 3.
Well, I'm also looking at Asia Wilson's career stats, and she averaged 22 last year.
How many points per game is Wadey averaging?
That's a good question.
2.
Less
2
than
for
that.
3.
Yeah. And
Next
Dinah
question.
Taurasi, Hall of Famer. So
that doesn't answer, but that doesn't mean she can't be the best player.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but this year.
I know. But let's see.
We'll see.
Let's see. She's
Maybe
played
she
one
is.
game.
Maybe she
Played
is.
one game.
I don't
Next
know.
question.
Netflix will stream NFL Christmas Day games this season. Will the Super Bowl ever be exclusively on a streaming platform?
I think so. Just because the money's there and I mean, if the Super Bowl ever went to a streaming platform, that effectively will kill cable television. Like it will be Over. Done. There will be no more cable television.
But you need cable to watch the Super Bowl if it's on ABC. That's non-cable.
Well,
or if it's on CBS.
That's
not cable.
Fox.
That's over the air. That's right. You don't need anything. You have bunny ears on your television and watch Fox.
Well, no. What are you talking about?
Like his point is though, if it goes straight streaming, they won't be on the bunny ears anymore.
Yeah, they won't be on Fox.
I'm saying, but I think some people, maybe it's because of when you grew up. Cable isn't CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC. You don't have to pay anything theoretically to get those stations.
Hey, you do.
No, you don't. There's ways to do it. No, you can literally have a television with an antenna, and it's an antenna signal.
Who has antennas anymore?
No, it's a good point. But I'm saying it is. No, your point's valid. So you think if you go to streamer, you eliminate people from cable, but cable's already gone the way of the streamer.
Right. And the only thing that is keeping
sports,
the cable alive is sports.
Yes, sports, I agree. Yes.
And you take away sports and you move it to a streaming platform, which is it's slowly happening with the NFL, with Netflix, Peacock, like Prime.
Oh, no, you're right. Did you see the thing they unveiled today? The logo for the new sports viewing app. Some people are calling it Spulu, Sports Hulu, which is going to be like Fox, Warner Brothers, and ESPN all combining to put their streaming games under one platform. You know, people complain, oh, where is the Knicks game? I got to go on this app. Where is the Ohio State football game? I got to go on this app. They're going to combine it all in one app. I think they're calling it Venue.
There's too many apps, man.
The world's changing, but I agree. I think the Super Bowl one day will be on a streamer.
Yeah.
I think the Super Bowl one day will absolutely be on a streamer.
Netflix will pony up.
Oh yeah,
and
people will watch, and people will pay. Yes.
Yep.
I don't know. I think they make more money just having it be on everything.
Everything's
they've already had the
streamer
chance because technically CBS is Paramount owns CBS, so
it wasn't streamed on.
But
Paramount
they could have though. But instead, they're like, yeah, they did stream it on Paramount Plus. They streamed it on Paramount Plus, CBS. It was on all of the CBS platforms.
Well, I think that
I think Fox and all of them would do the same thing.
If you go to Netflix, that is an exclusive Netflix thing. Like
what, the Christmas Day games? Oh, you're saying if they take I don't know. That's a fair. Okay, if you had the Super Bowl on Netflix and Fox, just hear me out. This February, next February.
Yeah.
No, your point's valid. You don't need Netflix to watch it, but it's such a big.
Wait, you do.
No. If it's on Netflix and Fox, I'm saying you could watch simulcast ABC and ESPN, but people will still watch it Netflix. Just be like when it's on ABC and ESPN, they watch on both networks.
There's no way Netflix would be like, yeah, we want the Super Bowl. We pay a bunch of money, but it also can be viewed on Fox. Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, but here's the thing too that you guys are forgetting. What's the big thing about the Super Bowl?
It crowns the champion.
No, paying all that money for a 90-second spot. There isn't no 90-second spots on Netflix, so they're not.
They do 90-second.
The ad revenue will disappear.
Well, they'll change it,
right?
And people will throw a fit because they don't want commercials on Netflix.
I have commercials on Netflix. We pay for the commercial version.
But when the NFL game happens on Netflix, Brent, there's going to be commercials. What are they going to do?
Just go live.
They're just going to
play through.
That's what WWE's going to do.
The what?
That's what WWE's going to do.
Not NFL.
Not NFL.
Next question.
Which NFL team had the best schedule release on social media?
Full disclosure, I only saw one.
I didn't see any.
So there's a couple. I really like the Tennessee Titans one.
What'd they do?
They did what they did last year, which is they went down to what's the main street in Nashville? Broadway.
Yeah.
And they
asked people like, what logo is this?
Yeah, like what team is this?
The Philadelphia Birdie Birds.
And they had no clue. It was people like,
yeah, it's funny.
And that was pretty funny. I'll go with the Titans because I know who you're going to go with.
It's the Chargers. Yeah. And I have no problem saying it because I'm not going to be the guy that says, I can't say the Chargers because I don't like the Chargers. The Chargers social media team here, I'm going to say it because has done unbelievable work.
I agree.
The relevancy of the Chargers mostly exists because of their social team.
Which is smart.
That's a credit to them somehow. This little Sims video that they put together, I don't even really know Sims. I mean, I know of it. Brent has to watch it.
I love the Sims.
The troll job they did in this video is so incredible to the point that someone put a thread together. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Of the 100 like Easter eggs in this 3-minute video that includes everything under the sun, including Harrison Butker in the kitchen cooking, because why wouldn't it? Pillow fighting his
Aaron
brothers.
Rodgers like holding an alien baby.
looking through the windows.
He's Travis Kelsey with his brother on a podcast and then flying off with Taylor in a private jet.
Whoever thought? I mean, it looks like it took him a year to do.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
They put. I mean, you're right about that. They are
well done.
They are completely irrelevant in LA, if not for
their social
media
man.
team, which has given them some type of relevancy.
I'm not saying this worked in LA, but it did work on social media. It just worked for people, NFL fans.
They're really good.
Brent loves it. He's laughing right now.
I like it. This is good.
Brent. It's truly made for Brent.
But you know The Sims is a video game.
No, I do. I know it, but I don't like.
One of my older
truly
roommates
know
used to be obsessed with The Sims.
I don't know it well.
The Sims were one of my favorite games to play.
It's been around forever, right?
Because it's basically just like build a house and live.
Yeah,
go
do whatever you want.
Go to a job, get money, and then build a bigger house.
Yep.
And get cooler items.
Yep.
And then like date other girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have families. And
yeah.
I would always in The Sims. I would always want to like have the most dysfunctional family ever. So I would like get a wife and then get a couple kids, and then I would
I'm out.
And I would leave, and then like the kids would have to fend for themselves. It was so fun because it's a video game.
I know it's The Sims.
So, like if a girl like a Sims character came in the game, and I would like, I don't know, it was just like a fight with them, right?
If you haven't seen it, check it out. Even if you. All right. On the other side, speaking of the NFL, I have a bunch to pick. I think the NFL has some explaining to do with its schedule that was officially released earlier this week. We'll explain next. Stay with us. All right, imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly with Loan Pronto's AI-based system. You get approval in about 10 minutes. Almost no documentation, no appraisal, no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home, and you can use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner is saving over $850 a month doing this. Obviously, that's crazy money. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards, get some money for home improvement, literally hundreds of thousands at your fingertips. Approval is just minutes away. Here's the number to call. 619-207-4336. You can call now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Equal housing lender. I have jury duty tomorrow.
See, I just wouldn't go.
I just wanted to. Here's the no. First of all, you can't say that publicly. You can't say I just wouldn't go.
Are they going to arrest me now? Who's going to arrest me?
Honestly, you should have been arrested for something else.
Clerk of courts
And
would.
yeah, you don't just. That's not a message. I go to jury duty.
I've gone to jury duty too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like it, but I understand. It's like one of them. It's like for me to be a citizen for some reason. This is part of the deal. It's a weird part of the deal, but it's part of it.
The one time that I got called to be a juror, it was for a case where a guy robbed a store.
Okay.
And they said, is anybody going to be, can anybody be impartial? Will anybody be impartial here to,
or will everyone be,
case?
will you be unbiased or do you have a bias?
Right. Do you have a bias towards this
And
case?
what was your bias? You love convenience stores. You drink Coca-Cola?
No, I don't know I didn't have to say my bias.
Okay.
I just said that I have a bias.
Okay. You just said you had a bias and that got you out.
Yeah.
See, I think sometimes in those circumstances, either lawyers or judges will say, please explain your bias. And they'll make you really go to an nth degree.
I mean, to be honest with you, this was like
a long time ago.
12 years ago.
And all is different. Listen, do I want to do it? I'll be honest. No.
No one wants to do it.
But I understand that if I don't do it, someone's got to do it.
But we also know, John, you're not going to be selected for a jury. Because
I mean, I don't want to be like an OJ case.
If you were, then say goodbye to like the next month of shows.
True. I could just bring like my equipment. I'll do it from like the jury box. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. We're live at North County Courthouse.
Hold on, the defense is talking right now.
Right.
Yeah. They're telling me about all this person, all the things this person stole.
I will say this, for whatever reason, in San Diego, they love issuing me jury duty like cards.
Really?
Like, guys, there's 3 million people here. Can't we like spread the wealth around? How many juries are we doing?
How many times have you asked for extensions?
17.
Yeah. See, at some point they just said, you can't do it anymore.
Well, or they just keep every month. They're like, here it is. Here's your extension.
I just think in life, like your job is more like to some people it might not be, but
no, I get it.
The judicial system it's something else. And if I got to miss work for this, like it better be an amazing reason. And
but that's like the law, right?
It's the law, but what are they going to do about it? If you
I
don't
think
go?
Arrest you and take you to jail for like 100 years.
See, for you think that. For me, I'm like,
right.
I think Aaron
you know me, I don't risk anything.
You don't. Yeah, I'm kind of like whatever. I don't ever want to be part of a jury.
I want to be on the jury for your trial.
Well, they wouldn't even start.
Do you have a bias? Yeah, I think he's guilty.
They wouldn't say anything. You'd be like, guilty?
Yeah, exactly.
Lock him up.
Yeah, they'd be like, the sentence is 6 months. They'd be like, yes, 25 years.
Yeah, JD Gaucho just says we should just do a Jon and Jim from the courthouse.
I don't hate it.
We're live outside the courthouse of San Diego, downtown.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Where Jon is waiting for jury duty.
I wanted to mention this real quick.
Can get a sketch artist to draw you guys.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
We have a jury for a Jon and Jim show.
Like NFL has a lot of explaining to do when they're explaining why the Jets have more primetime games than any team in the NFL since the year 1970. They even gave them an additional game this year because of what happened last year with Aaron Rodgers, going basically above and beyond NFL rules. They said, listen, we got a little carried away, but it's Aaron Rodgers. It's New York. 7 of their first 11 games are at night. The New York Jets, who haven't won anything since
forever.
Right. Mark Sanchez.
That's forever.
2 AFC championships, right?
Cool.
Yeah. So forever. You're right. They weren't even that relevant then, truthfully. So they haven't won anything since Joe Namath. The Niners go to Super Bowls every year. That doesn't make you mad that the Niners, I'm making up, might have 3 primetime games in the first 11 weeks, and the New York Jets have 7?
Well, the Niners have 6 overall. So
6 overall. Okay. But they also were in the Super Bowl. So the Jets have more than the San Francisco 49ers. You don't have an issue with it?
I mean, I don't really.
The Jets. New York.
I don't. I would thought you were going to go with the whole conspiracy theory about the Chiefs schedule with Taylor Swift.
What's the conspiracy?
That they planned their schedule around Taylor's
concert,
around her concert schedule. And I mean, the NFL's not stupid. if you look at every primetime, well, every big time matchup, big time date of the year, the Chiefs are involved. I think the Chiefs have a game on
Christmas.
They have a game on Black Friday. They have a game on Christmas. They obviously opened up the season. The defending champions, even though I hate their guts and I hope to lose every game for the rest of eternity. And they have like the position of their primetime games is the Taylor factor. Now it is because they got Patrick Mahomes still, and he's the best player in the league.
Yeah,
okay, whatever. But it also helps that Taylor Swift brought in like millions and millions and millions of fans to the NFL last year. I mean, that was the biggest win the NFL's had in a while, was Taylor Swift jumping on board.
100%. Real quick, by the way, on the Chiefs schedule you're talking about, you're probably right. It's not even a conspiracy. They probably just did it. But so there's a couple of things. The NFL is going head-to-head with the college football playoff week 1. And they put the Chiefs on that Saturday. But listen to what they're doing to play on Christmas Day. To accommodate Christmas Day, which is a Wednesday. How do you play Wednesday with no bye weeks? It's that late in the year. There's no byes. So, how do you play Wednesday? You know how they do it? Because they're putting more games that Saturday before it. So they're going Saturday, Wednesday, not Sunday. That's actually illegal. You can't go Sunday, Wednesday. That's crazy talk.
If you're Adam Silver?
Oh, yeah, with the NBA.
You just got run the F. I mean, you have no shot anymore.
Do you feel like it's okay if it falls on a Saturday or Sunday? I get it. It's a Saturday or Sunday. Play on Christmas.
Yeah, the NFL said we want Christmas, so we're taking Christmas.
Wednesday, dude.
And here's the little tricky, sneaky like thing that the NFL did to really just stick it to the NBA and make sure that their ratings are
what's that
horrible. Is being on Netflix. People are lazy enough, and switching between the NBA and the NFL is going to be hard to do
because you're just
when you're on Netflix
for 2 straight games.
You're not switching Netflix to go watch the NBA on ABC.
Yeah, Knicks Sixers, you can watch another
You can't
day.
do the return button because that's not how it works on
That's
Netflix.
what I'm talking about with this new app that ESPN, Warner, that's what they're putting together so you can be in the same app. But you're right, with Netflix, it might not work.
I mean, they are saying NBA, yeah, good job, little stepchild over there. You're just go sit in the corner.
I just don't like that. Like Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets are getting 7 primetime games the first 11 weeks.
I don't mind it because at least Aaron Rodgers is better than if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again and we have to watch
then what?
Their
Again,
backup.
Yeah,
then that's a problem.
And even if he doesn't get hurt, like it's like the Sports Center guys, like Jimmy Key. What is he like 40? Like enough? Is he that good? What was the last time he was good?
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, they'll just flex them all out.
Well, they're on, some of them are Monday
Some
and Thursday.
maybe are. Yeah, that's
Sundays
fair.
they can.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Monday nights is going to be hard.
That's a good point. All right, on the other side, hour 3, the Padres trying to turn the page as they get ready for the Atlanta Braves tomorrow afternoon. Stay with us.
All right, this update's brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres, they have an off day today. They'll take on the Braves starting tomorrow night, actually, for a 4-game series in Atlanta. 421st pitch, Max Fried on the mound. The Braves against Matt Waldron for the Padres. Moving over to NBA playoff action happening tonight. Just one game. Timberwolves and Nuggets in Minnesota. Game 6 as the Nuggets are looking to close out the T-Wolves and move on to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year in a row. 5:30 tip-off time there. And the PGA Championship first round happening today at Valhalla in Louisville. Xander Schauffele shot a 62-9 under. He leads the tournament right now. Tony Finau is 6 under par, and Rory McIlroy is 5 under par. Chilly showers no longer. Say goodbye to icy plunges. And hello to heat with AndersonPHA.com. Upgrade your water heater and get a free water pressure regulator valued at $1,300. That's AndersonPHA.com. All right, final hour of Jon and Jim. You're probably wondering why I'm starting the hour. That's because Jon left. So for the next hour, again, yeah, just me and Brent taking you home till 6 p.m. tonight. And if you missed it yesterday, Ryan Batelli, he is the new assistant coach at San Diego State. We'll play that full interview for you coming up in a little bit. But I feel like, being pretty much 24 hours removed from the press conference from hell from Mike Shildt, it is time to move on. This press conference to me will go down as one of the most embarrassing press conferences from a Padres manager that I've covered in the last decade. And that's saying something when you're talking about guys like Andy Green and Jace Tingler. But that doesn't mean that this team is all of a sudden just going to lose 30 games in a row just because Mike Shildt had a bad press conference that, to me, in my eyes, was pretty embarrassing to listen to. It doesn't mean anything. It's one press conference. It was bad. I'm sure he's going to speak tomorrow before the game, and I would bet that there might be some type of retraction or a little bit of walking back on some things. And if there's not, then there's not. It's whatever. You got to move forward. And you just hope that if this team gets swept again, which you don't want to see happen, or if they lose a series in Atlanta, that you're not hearing the same types of thing from Mike Shildt like you heard in the Rockies series. Because at that point, Brent, then we're getting closer to DEFCON 1. It wasn't DEFCON 1 the other day. It was a little bit of panic, a little bit of like, whoa, what's going on here? You guys are playing really good baseball. All of a sudden, you just like flipped a switch and didn't know how to play baseball versus the Rockies and got swept. I don't think it's the end of the world. Sky is not falling. This team is still, doing things that are better than last year. It's a very simple equation. It's a very simple solution to the problem, which is the Stars need to play better. If they don't play better, they're going to be struggling for the entirety of the season.
There's a big difference between, losing, was it 3 or 4 games in Atlanta?
4 games in Atlanta.
There's a big difference between, maybe losing 3 out of 4 or just getting swept by Atlanta in Atlanta compared to getting swept by the Rockies.
Because the Braves are viewed as one of the best teams in baseball.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right?
The Rockies are on like the bottom half of, baseball, and they are not like a couple years removed from a World Series. And, the thing that stings about the Rockies is that was one of those after the Dodgers are like, okay, these are the teams that you should beat, but you always seem to struggle and you just never beat the teams that you should beat, but you can take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, but you can't beat the Rockies.
And Monday afternoon, we were all sitting here saying, okay, Great. Now they're going to hopefully start playing better baseball at home. Don't take the Rockies lightly, but also take care of business. Don't trip up here. Don't have a situation where you take a couple steps forward or one step forward and you take 3 steps back. And they took a giant step back with getting swept by the Rockies and how it looked too. I mean, it wasn't pretty. Losing 8-0, there's no silver lining in an 8-0 loss. Like, there's none. I don't care if you only walked 4 dudes in a complete series as a pitching staff. There's no silver lining here. Okay. If you're on Shilt's side and you think that this team is great and you think that the sweep wasn't that bad and they didn't play bad and they didn't get outplayed, that's fine, but it's not the truth. And if you want to paint those glasses in a rosy color, like, go somewhere else. There's plenty of people in this town that will paint those glasses as rosy as possible, when in reality, that's not the case. But the press conference is over. They need to start playing better baseball consistently. I know Shildt took big, he was very up on the word consistency because he thought that they were playing consistent. It's like, well, yes and no. Yes, you were playing better baseball and you were 8-3 in your last 11 games, 7-3 in the month. But being consistent is making sure you don't have those series where you get swept, making sure you don't go through a 5-game losing streak. That's what people are talking about here, Shildt, is with the consistency aspect of it. Consistent teams, would you agree, Brent? Consistent teams don't get swept. Rarely, at least.
Not by teams like Colorado.
Well, yeah, exactly. They've been swept in 2 series this year. Okay.
And someone on YouTube chat pointed out that, yes, no love for Colorado. They've won 7 in a row. Yes. And despite them winning 7 in a row, they're still 15-28.
Exactly. They went through a stretch this year where they went, I think, 27 consecutive games without holding one lead, or at least not leading in the game, but I forget what the stat was. It might have been leading in the game or having a lead or whatever the case may be, but they're an awful team. We know they're going to lose 90-plus games. We hope the Padres don't lose 90-plus games. But being consistent is not playing good baseball and all of a sudden falling flat on your face. Like, if they won yesterday, we don't get this press conference from Shildt. Yeah, it still would be viewed as a really bad series because losing 2 or 3 to the Rockies at home is not good. Like, it isn't. Especially because they're a team that's going to be in last place when the season ends. But then the 8-0 loss made everything way worse. And then you get the presser yesterday and you get people in the clubhouse, talking about the boos and everything. But you got to move forward now. And as I said yesterday, they're a team that has played well against the good teams in baseball. So, and they played way better on the road. I mean, the numbers on the road, Brett, are night and day compared to their home numbers. And so maybe that's a good thing. You go to Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the best teams in baseball. So are you going to play good baseball there? I think I would give them a good chance to, just because of their history on the road this season. But I mean, who knows? Atlanta's going to be tough. And then Cincinnati's going to be tough too. And that's a 7-game road trip. And if you finish up the road trip 3-4, not the end of the world, right? But still, you finish the road trip 3-4, you come back home and you're 3 games under 500.
Atlanta is 15-5 at home this season, which doesn't mean they can't lose, because the Cubs were like 13-4 or something like that.
They played
lost
really
2 out of 3
well against the Cubs.
But the Padres are almost they're 10-16 at home this year.
They're 10-16 at home. They can't win night games if their life depended on it. They have players that, like, when they're put in situations to drive runs in with runners in scoring position, they can't do it. Manny's a complete shell of himself. Xander feels like he's completely lost it. But even with all that said, Brent, you look at their record, like, since April 26, which Kevin put in his article and showed the numbers of Xander and Manny, you would think, seeing those numbers without their record, that they would be worse off than 8-10 since then, which if you want to view it as a positive, I guess you can view it as a positive, but like they should be worse because those two guys aren't performing. Okay. But just imagine how much better they could be if those guys were performing.
Well, it's one of those things where, they're going to win some games, even if the bats aren't going, because they're going to get good starting pitching. And, they're going to win an occasional game, 2-0 or 3-1.
They haven't won those games this year, though, Brent. They've won, I think, one game this year, 2-1, and that was Friday night versus the Dodgers. They can't win close games because when they're in close games, the back end of their bullpen, besides Robert Suarez, can't keep the lead. They had that problem against Colorado. In Colorado, they have had that problem majority of this season where if it's a close game, more often than not, they're not having many of them. Like, they're not having many close game wins where they win 3-2 or they win 2-1 or they win 2-0. Friday night, last Friday versus the Dodgers was one of the few games they've won this year, 2-1. So that needs to be a thing that needs to be better. Their record in one-run games. It's not the end-all be-all. Last year's team was horrific at it. This year's team is, I think, 4-7 or 4-6 with one-run games. Not the worst thing in the world. But overall, I know that Shildt is spewing the consistency's fine and everything's fine. Well, it's not, and they need to get better at it. Plain and simple. Tomorrow, it's a new day. You hope that them going on the road kind of flushes everything that just happened at home, having a 2-4 homestand after taking 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. So it's going to be a continuous talking point and a continuous problem until it gets fixed. And what needs to be fixed isn't the press conferences. Those are going to happen. Those just compound everything and make things worse, I feel like. It's the play on the field. Plain and simple. Guys need to be better. End of discussion. San Diego State, they hired a new assistant coach. We had him on yesterday, Ryan Batelli. He is the new assistant coach here at San Diego State. If you missed that conversation with us, here's our conversation yesterday with new Aztec assistant coach, Ryan Batelli.
Great to catch up with a new Aztec men's basketball assistant coach, Ryan Batelli, who spent nearly 2 decades coaching all types of roles during your tenure at UC Irvine. He's joining us right now on Jon and Jim, home of the Aztecs. So, Coach, first of all, congratulations on this new opportunity. I mean, you were with such a premier program in the Big West, Irvine, all the successes over the last decade plus. First of all, congratulations. And secondly, how excited are you for this opportunity? And thank you for hopping on.
Hey, Jon, Jim, thanks so much for having me. I mean, it's really a privilege and an honor to be with you guys, and I appreciate the congratulations. I'm incredibly excited. I was talking with my wife the other day, and I was like, I don't know what exactly I'm feeling. And she said, well, for the first time in 18 years, you're the new guy. And, welcoming new staff and players to UC Irvine has been my role for the last, 19 years. And being the new guy is exciting and refreshing, but also comes with, some anxiety of not really knowing what that feels like. And in our business, it's rare that you stay one place for a long time, but again, looking at the Aztec family, I mean, that's what the Aztecs do for the most part. And so I feel really comfortable walking to a place that has that kind of culture, that fits, really what I'm used to. And I couldn't be more excited to be joining, this program in this city and be a part of it. Super excited.
From outside looking in, Coach, what's the thing that stands out to you the most about San Diego State basketball?
Culture, winning, representation of this city. Again, being in Orange County and, obviously going to school at UCLA, being able to watch San Diego State from, far enough distance, but also close enough to see how they've done it, how they've built it. And it's been really the right way. And so the tradition that has been built, over the years through Coach Fisher and then Coach Dutcher and the staffs that they've brought in, it has everything to do with the people. And then obviously the university and the city has been a big part of that as well. And so It's really interesting to watch from my perspective this program grow through really my youth and then through my coaching career, and it just speaks to everything that it's about. It's a little bit hidden and off the beaten path in some ways, down here in deep Southern California, but it makes big noise and it has unbelievable tradition and culture, and it's all about winning and making it about winning, and the selflessness that the student athletes that have had here in making it about winning, which is really hard and really rare, is something that resonates really strongly with me.
Really well said. Ryan Batelli is with us, new San Diego State assistant men's basketball coach for Brian Dutcher here on the Mesa. Now, you come from one of the elite defensive programs in the West, UC Irvine, and you come to a program that's also been defined and built, obviously, on its defensive culture. Does that help make the process more seamless?
No question. I mean, being in a program that has established a defensive identity and building it in a way. I mean, defense in basketball in general and sports is about toughness. It's about commitment. It's about togetherness. And so, doing that on the court is a reflection of your locker room, is a reflection of your head coach, is a reflection of your staff. And so I know that because that's how we've built it at UC Irvine. And I'm able to look at, San Diego State and look, you don't have to look too far to understand why they've been that way. And so, the transition for me in a defensive identity and a demand defensively for the players to do those things is a seamless, adjustment for me, moving into this role. And so I'm excited about that. I think, San Diego State and UC Irvine in a lot of ways mirror each other in terms of, the defensive identity and the culture of toughness and competitiveness. And, so in that way, I feel like a lot of ways it'll be a relatively easy adjustment for me to be able to, kind of speak that same language that they already have here.
With the culture of the NIL and the NIL era and the transfer portal era now in college basketball, the job of assistant is pretty important. So how has that changed with being the assistant coach now with the NIL and, the transfer portal, how crazy that is in college basketball?
Well, I think the best coaches, whether it's assistant or head coaches, and it's the same as players, they're adaptable. I think you have to adapt to a new landscape in college basketball, but you also have to stick with, what your philosophy is and what your culture is. And I think finding that balance of including NIL in the conversation and it being an important part of the conversation, and also maintaining your culture and being about, the right things and about, what San Diego State basketball is at its core, I think is that delicate balance that you have to find. And San Diego State has been on the forefront of really trying to find that, but also finding players that really value what San Diego State is and not making it just about NIL. And so, finding the right players that kind of, value those things, I think is as important as anything. And, but yeah, as an assistant coach, you have to understand what that landscape is, but also understand the philosophy of the head coach in terms of what they want and the kind of people they want, because that's what's going to be able to help you, have success in March when it's all said and done.
Ryan Batelli with us right now, new San Diego State assistant coach. People talk about culture and what that means. Obviously, it's been defined here over a quarter century, like you said, with Brian Dutcher and Steve Fisher. But in your experience at Irvine, where you won a ton of games, I mean, as an assistant, 14 years, you guys won 289 games at UC Irvine, made the NCAA tournament multiple times, had a win in the tournament back in 2019. You averaged 20-plus wins. What are the hallmarks of winning? What does it take to consistently win based on your experiences?
Well, I think it goes back to, the people. I mean, you have to get the right people that are about the right things. And, in our business, it's finding, obviously it starts with your head coach and your staff that make, winning, really what, separates yourself from everything else. And it's the same thing with your student athletes. And then you create buy-in over time, from the student athletes, because, I always think, human nature is the selfish nature in general. And so how do you get young people, especially this day and age, to care about each other's success and make the program bigger than everything else? And so that's a daily process. It's who you recruit to your program. It's the people that, lead the program. And then it's a constant, calibration of making sure that we stay in the right range of all that with your players. And and understanding also that the better, the team does and the better team success you have, the better it is for everybody. And so as long as you continue to perpetuate that message amongst the team and everybody, again, makes it about winning and enjoys each other's success genuinely, then you have a chance to do really special things. And San Diego State's proven that. I mean, they've had really, really good players, and a lot of teams do. But what separates the special ones are the ones that really are about each other and care about, this thing being, bigger than themselves. And that's a hard thing, for anybody to do, but especially, 18 to 20, 22, 23-year-olds.
Well, what do you make of the current roster that you're coming in to help coach?
Well, I'm excited about it. I mean, I look at the roster, of guys that are returning, and I see great talent. I see a couple guys that, that really are in position to take that next step. Again, a place like San Diego State, you look at it and you may look at it and say, hey, well, they lost, certain guys or what have you. But there are guys that are developing every day that are in the gym working their butts off to get ready for that opportunity. And so, again, that resonates closely with me. I mean, we lost two of our better players, all conference players, going into last season, and we got picked 5th. And then we won the conference by 3 games because we had, guys that were ready coming behind the guys that had left. And I think it's a really similar situation here at San Diego State. And then adding pieces through the transfer portal and with the freshman class that I think people around here are going to be really, really excited about. And I'm excited to take that, that new step with some of these new guys with them. But I think people around here are going to be really pleasantly surprised with this roster and what they can do.
Ryan, it's interesting because I think in reading about it, there weren't a ton of people that knew about your friendship, relationship with Kobe Bryant until his untimely passing. But, you spent a decade plus with Kobe on the court, off the floor, training, and well beyond that. When you consider that relationship, that friendship, your experience with him, what are your takeaways? What do you take from that experience and relationship still with you even after his passing?
Well, I mean, obviously I lost a close friend and what I consider to be one of my closest mentors. I mean, it was really an incredible relationship in a lot of ways because he was close enough, obviously, with what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, but also removed from college basketball to be able to give me good, sound advice in my own space in coaching. And I relied on him really heavily. And so that was a unique and special relationship that we had. And he, has left a lasting imprint on me in terms of, just how I look at the game, how I study the game, how I approach, working with student athletes and learning how to really find ways to push them to levels that they maybe didn't even realize that they had. And working with Kobe on a daily basis, it was extremely challenging to really try to, hit buttons with him because he was on all the time. He was at a competitive level just so consistently. And so my job was to make him uncomfortable. And so we would challenge each other. He would challenge me to do that for him. And that just sharpened my own tools in terms of, player development and finding different ways to be creative and to challenge him. And, so I, wake up every day trying to figure out ways to continue to evolve, to try to help, these student athletes, be, the best version of themselves. And again, that has really imprinted on me. And that's how I've gone about my business, really ever since we met.
Really fascinating. And Ryan, we're excited to have you on the Mesa. We really are. I mean, you've had an incredible career to this point in a variety of facets, including all your successes as an assistant coach, associate head coach as well at UC Irvine. Of course, San Diego State will get back underway this fall at Viejas Arena and beyond. Ryan Batelli, new assistant on the Mesa. Ryan, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we look forward to doing it again soon.
Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate you guys so much. Go Aztecs.
All right, coming up next, we'll preview the Padres 7-game road trip. Also, NCAA Football 25. They have released their cover athlete, or is it athletes? If you missed that, we'll tell you who's on the cover coming up next. All right, coming up next, my back page also will preview the Padres 7-game road trip and tell you who the cover athletes, if they're the right cover athletes for the new NCAA football game. Talk about that coming up next. All right, this update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres, they start a 7-game roadie tomorrow in Atlanta for 4, then 3 in Cincinnati. 4:20 first pitch tomorrow afternoon. Max Fried will be on the mound for the Braves against Matty Waldron of the Padres. Moving over to playoff basketball action tonight. Only in one game. It's the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Game 6 tips off in moments in Minnesota. Timberwolves are trying to avoid elimination. The Nuggets are trying to make their way back to a second consecutive Western Conference Finals. In the PGA Championship first round today, Xander Schauffele shot a 62-9 under par. He leads the tournament by 3 shots over Tony Finau at 6 under par. And Rory McIlroy, he is at 5 under par. Chilly showers no longer. Say goodbye to ice plunges and hello to heat with AndersonPHA.com. Upgrade your water, weather, and get a free water pressure regulator valued at $1,300. That's AndersonPHA.com. So this show is pretty excited about EA Sports College Football 25, even though I don't have a PS5 and John doesn't have a PS5, but Brian has a PS5. And today they came out with the cover athletes for EA Sports College Football 25.
And you can officially pre-order today too.
You can officially pre-order. Tomorrow is, I think, the first official trailer of the game.
That's what John said.
I think they're doing a countdown for at least the first footage of the game tomorrow to be released. I would expect some type of trailer.
They almost have to. The game comes on 2 months.
Yeah, July 19th. They are pretty close to finishing this thing up. It's Fowler has done all of the commentary. Herb Street, I think, is also in the game as well.
The 15th comes out. July 15th.
They've already shot the cover athletes. They've shot everything. And the cover athletes this year are 3 players. And these 3 players should be familiar to you because they were leaked on the deluxe edition just, I think, last week. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers, Michigan running back Donovan Edwards, and the popular Colorado quarterback / receiver Travis Hunter. Interesting they do 3 players. Brent, do you have any, this might be like, I don't know, controversial if you have another opinion, but like, did they get it right with the cover athletes or do you think not?
It's
Do you not
fine.
care?
2 out of the 3 are fine. The only one that's kind of like a head scratcher is the Michigan running back because he didn't really play last year, but he's
Right.
probably, he'll probably be
Blake Corum was the starter at Michigan, and he was the main guy there, even though
But
in
I
the
think
national
this guy,
championship game, Donnie Edwards had a good game.
I think this guy will be, a vocal point this year. So obviously they must think that he's going to have a pretty big year. Otherwise they want to put him on the cover. But yeah, those are the 3 on the main cover. And then those 3 plus there's a couple other randos on the deluxe edition. Cause there's like 20 people on the deluxe edition cover. So
Well, there's only there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 players on the deluxe edition that you can make out, and there's only 3 on the like the official.
The standard edition only has the
standard
3.
edition. The standard edition will cost you $69.99. How you doing? Deluxe edition $99.99, and the MVP bundle $149.99. The MVP bundle will come with a 3-day early access for both games and a variety of other benefits, including 4,600 college football points, presumably in-game currency, and a Heisman hopeful ultimate team pack. I have no idea what that means, but I think that's something that you want to have in that game.
It depends what modes you play. Deluxe edition, you'll get 3-day early access, so you'll get to play the game on the 15th instead of having to wait till the 19th. Like you said, you'll get the 4,600 college football points. You'll have access to the Alma Mater Ultimate Team Pack, the Cover Athlete Ultimate Team Pack, and Bring Glory Home Ultimate Team Uniform, and a Heisman Hopeful Ultimate Team Pack. But if you don't play Ultimate Team, then that stuff doesn't mean anything. So I'll probably just get the standard edition unless I get the shakes and I can't wait an extra 3 days to play it.
But when you get this game, Brent, and you come back and you tell me and John it's like the greatest like sporting game since forever, like it's way better than Madden. It's just as good and better than the last college football EA Sports game that came out almost a decade ago. I'm sorry, Aaron, but some of our honeymoon money will probably have to go to buying a PS5. Because that game right there will make me get the itch to go buy a PS5 and play video games again.
Well, I've been waiting ever since they settled that stupid lawsuit for football and for I hope 2K starts making college basketball again.
College basketball, I remember that.
I was pretty much strictly college when it came to that stuff. I didn't play Madden. I played some NBA 2K, but it was mostly I just played the college games until the stupid O'Bannon brothers sued, and then we couldn't play anymore. So
the college games were the most fun. Madden has, in my opinion, gone downhill. Do you agree with that?
It's not that it's gone downhill. It's just EA got lazy because
they just copy and paste every single year, right? Copy and paste.
They can because there's nobody. They have no competition. Because when they bought exclusive rights to the NFL, that meant that they could put out the same game essentially every year with a little bit of a facelift, and it doesn't matter because it's the only show in town.
This game is so important for EA because if this does not hit in a big way, I mean, it's people are still going to buy it, but they need to make sure that the first edition of the new era of college football EA Sports video game is just as good and probably has to be better than the previous version a decade ago.
It'll hit, but they'll have initial
glitches,
bugs and stuff.
Just
it'll be like every year in Madden. You'll get the haters that'll post all the glitches and say that the game's crap, and then you'll play them like, oh, it's not as bad as what they say it is. So I don't know. I have faith in this just because it's been so long coming, and it was supposed to come out like last year, but they delayed it a year.
And it's fine if it takes a little bit longer.
Well, as long as
it's right.
Yeah, as long as we're going to get a better game. Rockstar is always notorious for that with Grand Theft Auto games.
They were like 10 years before they come out with the new Grand Theft Auto.
And they get it right.
They get it right. It's amazing.
If they're going to delay it, a year or two because it needs polish, then that's fine. I'd rather, a lot of game companies these days now will release a game that's not finished, and then they'll just expect you to buy it and then wait for them to finish it through patches and stuff. So it's nice that they at least have a game that's done.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to spend another $500 to buy a PS5.
I think they're cheaper than that now.
Probably gonna have to spend another $400 to buy a PS5. And then I'm broke, so that's not gonna go over well with the new wife. Padres 7-game road trip. I think Brent, you look at this road trip and I don't want to sign up for a 3-4 road trip right now, but it's not an easy one. It's not an easy road trip. But why I don't think I would sign up for a 3-4 road trip is because they played better on the road. So I expect more from them on the road. I expect them to be a better version of themselves on the road than they've been at home. At home, they have a lot of problems. A lot of problems at home. But on the road, they're actually a pretty decent, good team. And so because of that, it's hard for me to sit here and say, yeah, just get 3-4 on the road trip and live to fight another day. You go 3-4 on the road trip, you come home, you're 3 games under 500 now. You can't play well at home until you prove otherwise. It's like, where are you going to make up the ground this season? To me, right now, it's on the road. To make up the ground that they can't maintain at home, they're going to have to play good baseball on the road. And I feel like they can play good baseball because they've shown it this year. They've shown that on the road, they're a completely different team. The offense is completely different. Hopefully, Manny turns out to be, completely different on the road as well, and then puts together a couple good months of baseball consistently, even though this team hates the word consistency.
Consistently,
And consistency, all of it. Consistently, they hate. They don't like that word. They don't like the word outplayed. They don't like the word we played bad.
Culture.
There's a lot of words they don't like. But this road trip, I think I can't take a 3-4 road trip because I know that they can do better, and I know they have done better, and they can play better, and they have played better on the road. So
I would say 4-3.
4-3 road trip.
Split with Atlanta and take 2 out of 3 against the Reds.
Yeah,
the Reds are the NL. They're the North Division, or the equivalent of the Rockies. They have the same record and everything. Pretty much.
They fell off a cliff. They were playing really good baseball.
Well, they
coming
lost
out of Petco Park.
I didn't see what they did the last couple of days, but they were. I think they lost like 11 out of 12 or something insane like that. So, everyone's talking about how hot the Rockies were coming into this series. Well, the Reds aren't hot coming into their series.
The Reds are 2-8 in their last 10. They're 18-25 on the season. And even though Atlanta is one of the better teams in baseball at 26-14, yeah, you split with them. You take a series in Cincinnati. You gain a game. Now you come home, you're only 1 game under 500. And if you play good baseball this road trip, then hopefully, maybe one of these times it'll actually work. Hopefully, they can take what they've done well on the road and kind of do the similar thing at home. Much easier said than done. My Back Page coming up next. All right, coming up next, my back page. Stay with us. All right, keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one, Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. All right, playoff basketball happening tonight. I feel like this one's going to be over, Brent. I don't feel like the Wolves are going to come back in this series. What a collapse by that. I felt, and by the way, I completely jinxed them. This is all my fault. I said that they were the favorites to win the NBA title this year after winning 6 games in a row to start the playoffs, winning 2 handily games in.
You're not the only one. The other day, I bumped into Chino when I got to work, and he's just like, man, he's like, Minnesota's just the real deal. I was like, yeah, I know. I've been feeling the Knicks too. And then I told the other day, that ever since we had our conversation, both teams have been garbage, with the exception of the Knicks. Look, another
the Knicks have now a chance to close that series out tomorrow and have a 3-2 series lead. But yeah, kind of missed on
Carlisle out of there.
Kind of missed on the Timberwolves there, unfortunately.
Well, at least they're still in good spirits. They think it's funny that they're going to get swept.
I know. They are laughing. Anthony Edwards laughing.
Dude, I thought Barkley was going to have an aneurysm when he started laughing about losing a playoff.
And by the way, Rudy Gobert is going to be known as the worst defender to win 4 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards ever.
I don't know if that's just a knock against Rudy or if it just tells you how good the Joker is. That he can be guarded by a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year and he still makes him look like a middle schooler.
Anyway, let's get to it, Brent. Everybody that's driving right now, listening to me, or watching me on YouTube, or listening on the iHeartRadio app, or your Alexa or smart speaker, go wash your bed sheets right now. Like, just go wash your bed sheets, or if you're on your way home, the first thing you do, go wash your bed sheets when you get home. Why I say that is because a new study has showed that San Diego ranks in the top 10 worst cities in the U.S. for bed bug infestations. They come in at number 8. We are the 8th worst city in America for bed bugs. that
That makes you want to go to a hotel right now.
Yeah, that kind of gives me a little bit of like the hives. I don't ever want to deal with bed bugs, so
I don't think most people do.
Yeah, go wash your bed sheets. All right, and if you have washed your bed sheets, then go wash them again. Just make sure you strip your bed. You look everywhere. You make sure there's no bed bugs.
It's a good thing hypochondriac John wasn't here for
Oh
this
my
story.
God. If John
He'd
was
probably
here,
just start itching right now just talking about
he
it.
would call Kristen and be like, "You need to wash our
Burn
bed
the
right
sheets.
now."
We need to buy brand new ones.
Yeah, exactly. Wash the sheets, then burn the sheets, then go buy new sheets. I'd have totally got John too. I'd have been like, John, there's like a little red mark on your neck. Do you think it's because of bed bugs?
He would have freaked out.
He would have freaked out. So yeah, go wash your bed sheets. Do it right now. You're welcome. The sun, Brent, like this is always kind of like what I fear is the sun kind of like one day, like in the movies, just spewing a giant solar flare and we're all dead instantly. You don't even realize it. Well, the sun has expelled the biggest solar flare in nearly 20 years. Thankfully, the Earth dodged it, but just barely.
Good job, Earth.
Yeah. It's the biggest flare of the 11-year solar cycle, which was approaching its peak. Thankfully, when it erupted away from Earth. But if it erupted towards Earth, there could have been some big problems like massive earthquakes, shutdown of power. Earth could have been in some serious danger, Brent. So knock on all the wood around you too. We just get rid of bed bugs and solar flares. We're good to go. This is a very uplifting back page, I feel like. So that's a good sign. And finally, this is a happy note. If you guys want more murals out there of Padres players, well, you're in luck because there's a
got one now.
There's a new mural in Little Italy of Joe Musgrove and his late grandmother. They unveiled it this past weekend. A mural that reads San Diego native. So that's pretty cool. I mean, Joe has, more murals around town than wins this year.
I thought you were going to tell me it was a feminist dog.
No,
he's got that bobblehead coming up. That is a cool bobblehead, though.
Happened yesterday.
Oh, that was yesterday?
2 days ago. Sorry, 2 days ago.
It's just cool because the dog.
I know.
Too.
The
So
dog
that
has
was pretty
bobble.
cool.
I think the dog makes noise. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
I know he bobbles. So, yeah, if you haven't,
That is an original bobblehead.
if you're wondering when you're driving downtown Little Italy, like, what's that? New Joe Musgrove mural. So check that maybe out. All right. We're back tomorrow, 3 p.m. We don't know if John's going to join us. My guess is probably won't. I'll just prepare like he won't because he's soft and he's going to be a jury forever. So we'll see. We'll see if John joins us or if he stays in jury duty the entirety of the day like a good person would. So we'll see. All right. Stay tuned. CDO Sports 760. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.